Okay, back to our soil analysis of the physical characteristics. At this point, we're going to work through the problems that we had for as examples for the soil texture triangle. And so let's take a look at that right now. And so here's our triangle. We go down to the problems that we have for this activity. We're going to start off looking at number 2. You can go through number 1 on your own. So number 2, we have 10% sand, 83% silt, 7% clay. So let's take a look at that one real quickly. If we go up to our triangle, okay, that looks good enough. Okay, so now we're going to try to figure out what we have. And so the first one, we have 10% sand. Oh, okay, so we come over to the axis for sand, which is the bottom axis, and we go up there. So we say we have 10% sand. Then it says we have 83% silt. So now on the silt axis, we come down 80, 90. So we have to kind of use our best judgment here. So about 83%. I'm going to go down, try to make that line parallel. So I see I have 83% silt. That looks pretty good. And then it tells me that I have 7% clay. So once again, I have to kind of use my best judgment there, come across, make that line parallel to my standards that I have there. And that one worked out all right. And we can see that we're over in the silt range. Okay. So, once again, you only need 2 of the percentages to figure out what type of soil you have, but the third is a nice check. Okay. So since we're done with this one, we can go down to our, to number 2, and we would just put in that we have silt for that. Okay. All right, sit. I guess you can sit. I don't know, but silt should be silt. Okay, and then for number 3, if we go through and take a look at this one, this is on your honor here. Okay, I'm going to give you the answers for these. But for number 3, we have sandy clay loam. For number 4, this is the first one we have to go through, and obviously we know that each of the percentages the totals have to add up to 100. So if you add 42 and 37 together, you see that you're going to get, what, 79, right? And then 79 from 100, that leaves you with 21. So the percent silt would be 21. And if you were to find those, all that in the intersection on our diagram, we would see that we have clay loam. Okay. All right, so that was number 4. Number 5, this one is 27% for the sand, and that gives us silt loam for number 5. Number 6 is going to be 15% for the sand, and that's going to give us silt loam. Is that number 5? No, that's number 6. So that should be clay. Sorry, number 6 should be clay. And then continuing on for number 7, add all this up, we see that we should have 6% for the clay, and that's going to end up giving us sandy loam. So this is sandy loam. All right, and number 8, 50 plus 40 is 90, so that leaves us with 10% for this soil, and that's going to be sandy clay. All right, so we have sandy clay. So minor differences there. And then for number 9, we see this one is a little bit different. They give us the type of soil. So actually we have a range of values. We have 36% sand. So the other 2, we need to end up being, what, 64%, right? And so to get clay loam with 36% sand, you would have between 24 and 37% about for your silt, and then your clay would be from 27% to 40%. Now, once again, you got to check and make sure that your totals add up to 100, right? Same thing for the silty clay. This one, you have a range of values here. This should be from 0 to 18 for the sand. And then for your silt, that should be from about 40 up to, what was that, 40 to 58, I think, somewhere in there. Okay, so in those ranges, that's what you should have for those. For the loamy sand, this, once again, there's quite a variety here, but to get loamy sand, I think your sand, you have to be somewhere between 70 and 90% sand, and then your silt needs to be 0 to 30%, and then your clay needs to be 0 to 15%. So you have quite a variety of things that you could have there. You might want to have a neighbor check yours and make sure it's good. But remember, they have to add up to 100. And the last one there, silt loam, should have 0 to 50% for the sand. For the silt, it should be 50 to 87%. And then for your clay, should be 0 to 27%. So just be sure that those add up to 100, whatever you happen to have there. And then the last thing, 13 and 14, those you get to choose whatever you want, whatever soil you want, and whatever percentages that you need to get that particular soil. Just be sure that they add up correctly, they get you in the right spot, and you might want to have a neighbor check that. Okay, so that's it for the soil texture practice. And now you should definitely be ready to determine what kind of soil you have, right? Okay. Well, good luck, and I'll see you again soon.